Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comp One Online. I am Samantha Piper, your instructor, and I wanted to take a few minutes just to introduce myself and kind of take a chance to welcome you to the course. I'm not going to do an entire exhaustive introduction because nobody really wants that right now. I just want to give you a couple hints about the class, give you some information about me so you know who I am and contact information, stuff like that. But just kind of talk a little bit about the class and kind of give you a feel for what's going on and why we're going to do what we're going to do. But a little bit about me. I came to Carl Albert from Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. We lived there because my husband was or is an Air Force veteran. He's retired now, and we had decided that if we could move closer, then we would after his retirement. Our family was getting, parents getting a little bit older, and we're originally from Mina Hatfield area. And after his retirement, a few years later, then we were able to. Uh, but I had originally thought that I would retire at Benedict College. It is a historically Black college, and I taught there for over 10 years. I'm serious, I could have retired there as an old lady and been perfectly happy. But with the opportunity to move here, kind of just needed a job. And Carl Albert came up, and sure enough, there was a position open. As I interviewed, I said, I'm not sure I really want to move. But the interview committee they were so passionate about teaching here and the students and the policy for teaching and learning and the growth and development of our students here. They said that this is home. And that's exactly what Benedict felt like for me. So I said, I can't go anywhere that doesn't feel like home. And they understood that. So immediately I knew that this could be a place that I could live and learn and grow as a professional, as a professor of myself. And when I got here, by that first week, the end of the first week, I knew I was home. Since then, I have I have thoroughly enjoyed being here and being able to work with the amazing students that we have here. Every semester, students come into my classroom, and I just have the greatest time. And I know that we're going to have a wonderful time this semester too. So, a little bit more about me. I have three children. They're grown now. In fact, my youngest just turned 20, and he is here at Carl Albert. He's a computer information systems student. And I wouldn't have any student, I wouldn't tell any student to come here if I didn't have my own students, or my own children to come here. So this is a place where I know students can grow and learn and be successful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have my own kids come. Um, we have two dogs, two cats. Um, we used to have some fish. My daughter has fish. Um, we have a grand dog, I guess you could say. My oldest daughter has a dog. No grandbabies. Maybe someday. Uh, Unique opportunities happen here for students. Carl Albert is a place where you can get to know people and you can get to know your students as a professor, but you can also get to know your professors. You are not a number here. And I know what it's like to go to a large university, especially as an incoming freshman, because I did that myself. And that's not always great for everyone. Now, some people can get into that and have no problem. I was not that person. So to be able to come into a classroom with smaller class sizes, even in an online environment where the professor gets to know who you are and you can develop that relationship where you have that one-on-one learning and growth and development is really, really important. And that's something that happens here. So it's not just the environment, but it's also um, the passion and kind of the emphasis on giving students what they need to learn and grow and be successful. That's what makes Carl Albert this unique, wonderful place. So beyond that, we want to make sure that students aren't just successful academically, because it's really great to get a good grade at the end of the semester and think, "Ooh, look at me, woohoo!" Because report cards are cool, right? Um, but what we're really looking for is that as you transition out of Carl Albert, that you can be successful moving beyond Carl Albert. And so, one of the things that we'll talk about is something we call durable skills. And in all of your classes, you're probably going to hear this term. So, let me tell you, I want to talk a little bit about what composition is. And most of the time, we hear people talk about uh, general education courses, and they're just the courses that you have to do because we make you do it. Okay, and students are like, well, I don't know what it is. They just want our money, or I've heard the things. Okay, but here's the deal. It's not just a have-to course. The durable skills means these are the skills that allow you to move forward. These are the skills that allow you to get the job. These are the skills that allow you to get the scholarships, the transfers, the moving into the workplace, and not just get the job, but continue to be successful, move up in the ranks in the job, move up in the ranks and graduate, all of these different things. So when we came back as faculty last week, then we had this chart, and hopefully you guys can see. You can't read that, but we have like this big, huge chart with a whole bunch of words on it, and this is our durable skills, this language kind of thing. And we start thinking about major skill sets and what does it mean to give you these skills. So a couple things like for composition, what does that what does that really entail? We think about writing. And I have students say, Miss Piper, I'm not a good writer. I usually ask, who said? Well, I do. Who told you that? Well, nobody really told me that. Or heaven forbid, I've had a teacher tell me that. Well, okay, first, I don't know who the teacher was, or I don't know who told you that, but they were totally wrong. And even if somebody did tell you that doesn't mean that you can't learn to write now. So I want you to think about writing in a different way. A lot of students get really scared of writing. They get really apprehensive about writing. And yes, composition is writing. But when we talk about durable skills, that means that composition has to do with things like communication. And communication is written communication, yes, but verbal communication, it is visual communication, it's hearing communication, listening, all of these different facets. It is critical thinking. It will do stuff about critical thinking. Well, what does that mean? That's this kind of a nebulous thing because critical thinking in math has to do with problem solving. Does that mean word problems? Probably, but we do word problems in English too. See, that's something that's really interesting. We think about in composition, we think about collaboration. And students think, oh my God, group work. Nobody likes to do group work. Okay, this isn't your high school group work. Okay, and there might be some opportunities um, where we might do some group work, maybe a group discussion, or maybe kind of pair some of you together in small groups where we can do some amazing smaller projects and things during the semester that it's not just one person does all the work and everybody else gets credit for it because this is college and we don't work that way. So collaboration is one of those durable skills. We might look at strategic planning. We might look at things like investigating a text, which we will do. So there's different types of skill sets that are entailed in writing. And we don't necessarily explain all of that, but we're going to in this class. So part of what I try to do is show you not just what we're going to do and walk you through it, and I will walk you through it, but I also want you to know what we're doing, how we're doing it, and most important, why we're doing it. So if you ever have a question about, Piper, what we're doing and how's this work and why, do not be afraid to ask me questions. I never mind questions. Because if you don't know why we're doing something, then it feels like busy work. And I don't know about you, but I don't like it. So we want to make sure that you understand the what's and whys and hows before we start moving on. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless. And we don't do pointless here. So one of the things that gets us to writing is reading. And I make an assumption here. uh, Good writers read. And a lot of students think, well, I don't like to read. Well, I used to ask, well, would you read if I asked you to? Okay, well, that doesn't really help because, yeah, whatever. Would you read something that you were interested in? Well, if I had to, that's usually what I got. Okay, well, what does it mean to read critically at the college level? So one of the things we're going to do is go through the reading process, and I'm going to show you how to read a text, how to mine it, M-I-N-E, mine it for information. So we're going to look at it at different levels. And that's going to be something that's really cool. So we're going to look at it on the surface. We're going to kind of figure out the what's and whys and hows, like the basic facts, and figure out what it is. And we're going to learn how to interpret it. And this is going to be like the first big hint. You're going to figure out who's and what's it's and how's it's and all of those kind of things and identify the information. And then we're going to interpret that information. What does it mean? How does it work and why? And then we're going to be able to talk about that. And then the next thing is where the critical thinking and analysis comes in, because we're going to be able to apply the ideas that we have learned about to something outside of that text. And that's where the synthesis comes in, and that's where like the true critical thinking and analysis comes in, because that's where we can take what everything that we have learned and say, this is how it works on something else. This is where we can show out and say, this is how I know what I'm doing. Because that's how you can prove yourself. That's how you can demonstrate that you have learned and grown and developed, right? That's what's really impressive. So if we can do that in our writing and our communication, then we know we've got it. So that's going to be that first big kind of monumental step. And it sounds super complex, and it kind of is, but I'm going to walk you through that process. We're going to talk about the writing process and how that works in my brain. Everything is a writing process. And I'll talk about this in a video when we go over it. I'm going to talk about it because everything happens. When I was doing this video, to tell you the truth, I started it several different times. and thought, yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, started. Hi, how you doing? How's your mama? Yeah, I can't do that one. And well, hello, Piper people. How are you? I messed up. Okay. Now, normally I wouldn't tell you all that, but I say it to say this. No one does something perfect the first time. Everything is a process. Everything is a writing process. So it's like no kid learns how to walk unless they've fallen down. No kid learns how to walk until they've crawled. No kid learns how to walk until they've even set up. So you can't learn how to ride a bike unless you've probably fallen a few times. Everything's a process. Writing at the college level is a process as well. And we're going to walk through that. I'm going to show you how to do all of these things. It's going to take some time. So here's hint number 2. Trust the process. Trust me to help you through it. The most important, and this is the big one, trust yourself, okay? Students, like I said, get really apprehensive about the writing. And I don't know if you've taken an online class before or not. Let me help you through the process. And I'm really serious about that. Let me help you work through everything. And if you're unsure, contact me. Okay? This is important. Don't just fade out in the ether somewhere. Don't make me hunt you down because I will. But, let me help you. Trust the process. But don't wait until the last minute for the process to work because that's not how process works, okay? So if you start feeling like things are getting a little wonky, contact me right then. Okay, don't wait for me to notice and say, Piper should see something soon. Um, Piper's got a lot of classes. Piper's got a lot of stuff going on, and hopefully I have a life. Um, but you know what's going on in your life. You know what's going on in your head. You know what's going on. And I am not a mind reader. It'd be great. And I used to tell my kids as they were growing up, especially my oldest, that I have eyes in the back of my head and all that kind of stuff. And any of you that have young children, you got to get the bluff into them early. But we're all adults here. We know that I can't read your mind. So it's up to you to let me know if you're apprehensive. It's up to you. Oh, that's my phone. It's up to you to let me know what's going on. And if you're having any difficulty or if you have any concerns or you just need a little encouragement, contact me and let me help you, okay? So a couple little business things before I close everything out. There are no books required for this course. You're welcome. The reason I do that is because there are a lot of open source, like billions of open source materials that are available online, and I see no reason not to use them. So we're going to do that. I do have a recommended text, though. Have you ever seen a handbook? Now, a handbook is really important. Handbook is a text that can help you with anything you ever wanted to learn about reading, writing. This is the Little Seagull Handbook. It is the 5th edition, and you could use the 4th edition if you needed to. Probably runs about between 33, 35-ish dollars or so at the bookstore. You can get it online. This is the one with exercises. And it's a really good tool. It's going to teach you everything you ever wanted to know about writing and then some. And I use this as a reference guide. It also has all of the information about our writing formats, APA, MLA, it's got Chicago, it's got all the things. So as you matriculate through your degree And then you can go, if you transfer, you go into the workplace, you're going to use this, it's going to last you. Okay. So it's not something that's going to be just for one semester or even a year, because you can use this in Comp 2 as well. The only thing that would make it better is if it already had tabs. So, that might be something that you could do. Um, I'm just saying, I'm a little OCD and I like my tabs. Um, that's a recommended text. I have it available in the bookstore. That's up to you. There are materials that can be online and you can get some stuff. Easy Bib and all those other websites, I don't really trust that. So just have that in your head. Okay. Now, office hours. Faculty are required to have 12 full-time faculty are required to have 12 hours of office hours each week. And I do have that. Now, I say that saying this is an online course, and that means that some of you are going to be uh, studying and doing coursework at like dark 30. Um, you know, okay, so I may not be awake at dark 30. Sometimes I am because I don't sleep much, but still. But I don't have office hours, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, even if I am awake. So I will do have my office hours posted. And let me switch to a view real quick. I will share the screen. So here you can see where my office hours are. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. So Monday, Wednesday, 9 to 10, and then 1 to 4. Friday, 1 to 2, and then Tuesday, Thursday, 3 to 4. But I say other times by appointment because online classes don't really work that way. So if these hours don't work for you, now if you are on campus, on the Poto campus, and you are here and ready and you are available, then by all means, um, stop by and see me. If not, you can see me over Zoom. By all means, you can email me through Blackboard. You can email me through Carl Albert email, through like your student email. I'll even share one more time because I have my numbers. So here is my office phone number. People usually don't call that. Um, Here's my cell phone number. Now, it allows students to have that number. Um, don't send me anything nasty. That's actually happened a couple times since I've been here, and it's weird. So don't send me anything nasty. Most students completely understand protocol and all that kind of stuff. You can call me, you can text me, and that is perfectly fine. Please don't think that you are ever a bother. You do not have to apologize for contacting me. Um, I'll say more about this in a minute. I also don't mind Zooming. So if you are, off campus, if you're in Germany, we can still Zoom. We can do whatever we need to do. But about contacting me, like seriously, guys, don't apologize. If it is on a weekend, I never mind talking to students. I never mind. Um, Seriously, you guys are mine now. You are Piper people. And I got a whole hashtag and everything. Like, seriously, if you have questions, if you have concerns, or you just need some encouragement, feel free to contact me at any time. I never mind. Guys, this is going to be an absolutely amazing semester. I am looking forward to working with you. One note about the class. I just got it on Monday. So I wasn't planning to teach online. I didn't have the in-course built yet. So I'll be building as we kind of go on some of the stuff. So not everything is going to be available yet, but I will get stuff populated as soon as possible. You'll start seeing everything. So if don't freak out if there's not a whole bunch of stuff there. We will start getting things there as soon as possible in the next few days, and you'll start having some assignments. We will start building things up as we move forward. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. It's going to be a great semester, and I look forward to working with each of you. Have a wonderful time. Have a great semester. And thank you so much for spending your time with me. See you guys. Bye.